Hello and welcome to Cat's Love, and today I'm talking about another cat myth, if cats can predict the weather or not. There has been this myth that is pretty big that's been going around for a while now that states that cats can predict storms, snow, and possibly severe weather. Really, the questions that I'm wanting to answer today is 1. Can cats predict storms? Can cats predict snow? Third question, can cats predict severe weather, like tornadoes and hail and other types of severe storms? So let's start by delving into the first question. Can cats predict storms, like the non-severe / rain showers? Well, as you may know, cats have pretty good hearing and they have sensitive ears. Cats can sense a sudden fall in atmospheric pressure in their inner ear. Also, your cat will probably just hear the thunder and lightning before you do. That really doesn't answer the question if cats can predict a storm. That basically means that we need to dig deeper. So there's this article by Farmer's Almanac that basically talks about the folklore revolving around cats predicting weather. The article shows that people before Doppler radar basically relied on animal behavior to see what the weather will be. The belief is when cats lay on their back with their mouth open, then you should expect a storm. Another folklore is that when a cat lays in the sun in February, then it will creep behind the stove in March. I was confused what this meant and I couldn't find a meaning. What I thought it was is that when a cat lays in the sun in February, then expect like severe storms in March, like at the start of March, because it creeps behind the stove, like maybe to hide from the storms or... Next folklore actually attributes to my can cats predict snow question. It states that if a cat sits with its back to the fireplace, then expect frost and bad weather. And there's many more folklores that revolve around cats predicting the weather, but that's just the main ones that I could find. That's folklore and belief and not actual scientifically proven facts. Another folklore that I just thought was so jolly is that when a cat licks itself, then expect hail.
A lick of fur, heads up for hail.
Sounds cool until you realize that cats spend most of their day grooming themselves. Yeah, I think my cat Dexter just licked himself. But folklore and beliefs aside, can cats genuinely predict the weather? Well, mainly no. They can't actually predict, but they can sense ahead of time. Kind of what the answer was last episode. But what about other weather phenomena, like tsunamis, earthquakes, and maybe even tornadoes? Well, the video I'm about to show you basically proves that cats can predict earthquakes. Yeah, what you just seen there was an earthquake hitting a cat cafe or a foster care building. I don't really know. It was a room full of cats. So if we analyze the video, we can see that before the earthquake even struck, the cats were freaking out and running all over the place trying to find a safe spot. The cats started to freak out exactly 8 seconds before the earthquake even began. Which doesn't really sound like long, but if you think about it, we don't have a warning to prepare for an earthquake like we do tornadoes and tsunamis. We can have up to 60 seconds in preparation for an earthquake, which compared to tornadoes and tsunamis, tornadoes we can have up to 30 minutes, and tsunamis we can have up to like 6 hours. But without an earthquake warning, we would just have to wait for it to start before we even knew one was going to happen. Cats have a special sensitivity when it comes to the Earth's magnetic fields, which I have talked about in a past video. So the cats in the video basically felt the small tremors before the intense ones happened. Earthquakes are usually associated with tsunamis, but can a cat predict a tsunami? Well, like I have been saying in some of my past videos and now, cats are very sensitive when it comes to hearing and vibrations. So they can probably sense a tsunami incoming by just feeling the vibrations of the rushing waves. But of course, if you live by the coast and an earthquake has just happened, then I wouldn't really be relying on the cat to give you any info on an incoming wave. But like I said earlier, you have so many hours in a day to prepare for a tsunami coming whenever those warnings come out, and not all times a tsunami does actually happen. But yes, technically cats can sense an incoming tsunami, but no, they can't really predict it. And my final question for right now is, can cats predict tornadoes? Obviously, cats can sense an incoming tornado, and so can the National Weather Service. Cats will likely hear the loud roar a tornado produces and the vibrations of the violent swirling funnel. Plus, they will most likely feel the sudden change in air pressure, kind of like how our ears pop when a sudden air pressure change happens during a tornado. But can cats predict tornadoes, like hours or even days before then? Well, technically the answer is yes, as cats can sense a storm brewing plus the sudden air pressure change. But if you are wondering if cats can predict tornadoes like days or hours before then, sadly the answer is no. The only natural disaster that a cat can actually predict is an earthquake. In fact, scientists in Japan have been studying the topic and found out that cats are more likely to predict earthquakes than any other natural disaster. But the main question is, can they predict one, not sense? Obviously they can sense, but can they actually predict one? The final answer to that question is yes, but also a no. Yes, they can sense brewing storms, pressure changes, slight shakes, and many other factors that contribute into them predicting a natural disaster. But otherwise, the answer is no. They can't predict what storm will have a tornado in it, or if you will be in the path of one, and no, they can't predict what shoreline will be hit by a tsunami or not. And no, they can't predict lightning. Or can they? Yeah, I went Vsauce. So when a cat senses a storm brewing, they usually use their inner ears and nose. But we're going to focus on the nose factor. Because when a storm is brewing, specifically an electrified one, they will most likely smell the metallic odor in the sky coming from the lightning. And they can predict that lightning will be on the horizon. No, cats can't predict where lightning will strike, but they will know which storms are electrified and which ones aren't. So, what was our final conclusion? Should we rely on pets to basically tell us the weather? Unless it's earthquakes, then no, and the earthquake part is still a tricky subject, as I personally wouldn't rely on my freaking out cat to sense an earthquake or not. And should you replace your weather radio with a cat? No, absolutely not. But we did learn something today, and that is that cats can somehow rain a wrath of hail onto you whenever they lick themselves. Anyway, thanks for watching. I expected this episode to have a clear answer, but it was really mixed. Turns out there is many factors when it comes to cats' senses and brewing weather conditions. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, then let me know, and if you have any feedback or any information regarding this episode or any other episodes, then please let me know. Stay tuned for next week, or here in a few days. It depends whenever I upload this, but the second week of November, I'm going back to my cat breed profile series to talk about the British Shorthair, and after that, I'm doing a short video on the British Longhair. Plus, in that same week, if not the week after, I don't really know, my upload schedule is everywhere, I'll also be talking about Colt and Marmalade's story. Also, Paranormal Investigation, the series where I talk about ghost cats, was supposed to end a few days ago, but I'm extending it to November 10th, so from now to November 10th, expect some frequent spooky cat-themed videos. I know everybody's going to be celebrating Christmas and Thanksgiving, but trust me, spooky season can last just a tad bit longer. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Cat's Love. See you next episode. Well, hi, kitty. Where'd you come from? Oh, did you just summon a tornado? Whoa, hey, no, don't lick yourself.